is going on, everyone, and welcome to the MichiganAmbushOutdoors.com YouTube page. And in this week's video, I got a super sweet product review for you guys. We are actually going to be testing out the SpyPoint Universal Cellular Adapter, also known as the Cell Link. Now, in this video, we are going to be testing a variety of cameras ranging from high-end down to your more budget-friendly cameras that you could pick up at your local Walmart to actually see if this thing will in fact turn any camera into a cell camera like SpyPoint is telling us. Now, this test is going to be done through a variety of cameras through various manufacturers. I figured that this was the best way to see if this thing was going to stay consistent. Now, the cameras that we're going to test in this video are going to be a stealth cam, a wild game innovation camera, a Tasco camera from Walmart, and then just to ensure that we have an even number of cameras, I'm going to throw in an older wild game innovation camera that's probably about 5 or 6 years old. This thing's a brick. You could probably actually throw it at a deer and kill it if you needed to. That's how heavy this thing is. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's bust this thing open, let's see what you get with the package, and then we're going to move to the testing. So this is what the package looks like when you get it. We're going to go ahead, we're going to open this thing up, and I'm going to show you what comes with it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Nothing else is in there. So basically what you're going to get is you're going to get the Cell Link, you're going to get an antenna, and then you're going to get an SD card adapter. Now this thing does take 8 AA batteries. If you open up that side door, you push down here and you pop out your battery slot or your battery cartridge. When you go and put batteries in this, just make sure you're using high quality batteries. I always recommend getting the Energizer lithium. Those seem to work the best for me. This, like I said, is going to be your SD card. This is going to be what plugs into your actual camera. But what you're going to do here is you're just going to, there's a port right on the bottom. You're going to go ahead, plug this into the actual Cell Link. And then it does come with this waterproof cap, so go ahead, screw that tight. That's going to ensure that you don't get any water into that Cell Link. And then this is going to be your antenna, and then this is basically going to screw right onto the side. So pretty simple. Do keep in mind that this thing does require you to use a micro SD card, so make sure if you're going to buy this, pick up an extra SD card, micro SD card if you don't have it. And then you also get a set of instructions, and then you get a strap for the tree. I did look through the instructions, and it doesn't specify what size micro SD card that you need. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try it out with a 16 gig micro SD card, but I would make sure that you're buying a higher end SD card. I would not go and buy like something cheap and expect for it to work well. So now that the camera is open, we know what's in the package. The next thing that we need to do is we need to actually set this thing up. Now I did pre-read the instructions, and it looks like a pretty straightforward process. The first thing that you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to download the SpyPoint mobile app to your mobile device, and then you need to activate it. Now to activate it, SpyPoint has made this really straightforward. All you got to do is open up that side panel, scan that QRC code, and then it's going to automatically link it to your account. Now, once it is linked to your account, it's going to throw you into a 7-day trial by default. Now, this is actually a pretty sweet feature because this is going to give you the ability to find the most optimal location to ensure you are receiving the best signal possible to ensure you're getting your pictures once they're detected. So now that we have everything hooked up, it's linked to our account, our camera's activated, let's go out and set this thing up on a tree so we can start the testing process. Now, keep in mind that it is very critical for you to make sure that you are leaving enough slack on the SD card cable in the camera when you go to shut that door. If you do not leave enough slack with that cord, once you shut that door, it'll actually pull that card out. I experienced that when I first started testing it. The camera looked ready to go. It was activating. I shut the door, then suddenly I wasn't receiving any pictures. And then I realized that when I was shutting the door, the card was actually sliding out just enough for me not to notice. But again, it was affecting my results. So just make sure that you're leaving enough slack inside that door when you go to shut it, and that'll ensure that that card's not pulling out when you go to close that door. Now for the test, You know, I really wanted to set this thing up and put it in a position where I was getting a ton of deer photos and coyote photos, and I was going to be able to share all that stuff with you guys. But the reality is that it took out the control of the test. So I set this thing up in my backyard, so don't mind the random pictures that you're going to see of me, my wife, and my son. But like I said, that was the only way to ensure that I was controlling the test. I wanted to know when the camera was taking a picture, and then I wanted to see how long it was actually going to take for me to receive a notification. Now, I did select random times throughout the day, but I focused on early morning, midday, and then at night. And what that gave me the ability to do is it allowed me to test the cell module with various cloud coverage to see if the signal was being affected. And then we were also recently experiencing some pretty extreme temperature swings here in Michigan. Early morning and at night, it was getting down to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And then in the afternoon, it was getting up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So it gave us the ability to test this thing out in not only warm temperatures, but cold temperatures to see if it was going to continue to work and function properly. And in my experience, all the photos taken roughly took about 1 minute for me to receive a notification. Now, there were some rare cases, and it seemed to be only at night, but for whatever reason, the camera would take a picture. I knew it took a picture because I could see the infrared light, but then I would not receive a notification. And a couple times I had again walked back through the camera 10-15 minutes later, and what it was doing is it was actually pushing the previous photo to my phone. Now, when I did not re-walk in front of the camera, I actually wasn't receiving that picture until the next day. And now I'm not sure because of the varying cloud coverage was affecting the signal, and then once it got a better signal, it pushed them over. But I do want to point that out, that I was receiving a little bit of variance only at night when receiving photos. So the next portion of this test was to see the image quality coming over from the SpyPoint to my mobile app. Now, keep in mind, I already expected that we would get a little bit of picture degrade, but I didn't want it so much to the point where I wasn't going to be able to tell what was walking through a camera. For me personally, I want to be able to see what bucks are on the property and see if they're going to be a potential shooter for me. And if the picture's completely blurred out and blown out, you're not going to be able to tell what that buck is when it's moving through. Now, keep in mind, as we start to move down through those budget cameras or closer to those budget-friendly cameras, the picture quality coming out of those cameras already sucks. So I wasn't expecting anything super impressive out of those cameras. So for this test, I really just focused on the SpyPoint, being that it was a higher quality camera and it was shooting at a HD 16 megapixel picture. Now, with that photo, I did see a little bit of degrade. As you can see in the photo, I'm going to loop it side by side, but I did see a little image quality degrade. But as I said, it was to be expected, and it wasn't enough for me to really completely not consider the Cell Link as a possible solution going forward. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. Overall, my experience with the Cell Link has been outstanding. I'm super happy with the product. I'm actually going to buy another one so I can actually set this thing up on the private property and have 2 cell cameras, and I don't have to go into some of those prime bedding areas and start blowing them out by checking the camera. But do keep in mind that when you purchase this product, if you're planning on setting this thing up in an area that already has bad cell service, I could probably guarantee you that you're going to have a bad experience with the Cell Link. But that's not really SpyPoint's fault, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that that's the case with any cellular camera. It's gonna require a good signal. So make sure that you're taking the 7-day trial, find the best location where you're getting the best signal throughout the day, monitor your signal throughout the day, which you can do through the app. And then if you need to shift it. Don't just sit there and let it sit in a spot with a bad signal and then expect it to be a better result in the end. But I hope this video helps you guys. I hope you guys found it educational. I hope it helps you guys with your purchasing decisions. If you guys have any questions, you can always leave me a comment below. And then, as always, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Your guys' support greatly helps us out. And then if you have not checked out MichiganAmbushOutdoors.com, go over there, get you guys yourself some merch. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you guys on the next one.